Detroit once held nearly 1.85 million people. That number isn't abstract. It had weight. It meant streets filling all at once at shift change. Streetcars packed shoulder to shoulder. Factory whistles releasing entire neighborhoods simultaneously. And on certain days, it meant something else entirely. Noise. Not traffic. Not machinery. Human sound. Before domes. Before parking seas. Before broadcast first design. Detroit gathered in its neighborhoods. On corners. Along streetcar lines. And the loudest places in the city weren't factories or rail yards. They were stadiums. Not just as venues, but as ritual. As civic identity. As proof that the city could still become one thing at one time. Tonight, we're walking through Detroit's stadium story. The ones we lost, the ones that replaced them, and what those choices reveal about how Detroit changed its relationship with gathering. This is Streets of History. I'm Chris Hubble with History Loves Company. Each week, we step away from nostalgia and look directly at place. How cities were built and how they quietly reshaped themselves after the crowds left. Stadiums are never neutral. They're political decisions, economic strategies, architectural statements. They show how a city understands land, how it values proximity, how much control it wants over people. Detroit's stadium story isn't just about teams moving. It's about how close a city allows people to be. Before football became a television product, it was a neighborhood event. The Detroit Lions once played at what we now call Tiger Stadium. But the name matters. Navin Field, Briggs Stadium, Tiger Stadium. Opened in 1912 at Michigan and Trumbull. Steel, concrete, steep decks, no plazas, no buffers. The walls rose directly from the sidewalk. Houses, bars, churches, corner stores, all pressed right up against the building. Capacity hovered around 50,000, but the power wasn't size. It was proximity. Fans walked. Streetcars unloaded at the corners. On game day, Detroit didn't travel to football. Football arrived in the neighborhood. But by the mid-20th century, football changed. Television changed it. Car culture changed it. Revenue expectations changed it. Neighborhoods, once assets, now became limitations. And Detroit didn't resist. It pivoted. When the Pontiac Silverdome opened in 1975, it wasn't just a new stadium. It was a new philosophy. Built in Pontiac. Designed for cars. Designed for scale. Its air-supported roof, a fiberglass fabric held up by constant pressure, was an engineering marvel. Football capacity sat around 80,000. The building hosted a Super Bowl, World Cup matches, a papal mass with nearly 94,000 people inside. For a moment, this looked like the future. But there was a trade. The trade was place. No neighborhood grid, no street life, no spillover. People arrived. People left. Straight to the highway. The Lions moved out after the 2001 season. The building struggled. Closed. Reopened. And closed again. In 2017, the Silverdome was demolished. Today, the site holds an Amazon fulfillment center. The meaning is hard to miss. A place once built for human gathering now moves goods. From ritual to efficiency. Detroit baseball committed to permanence early. Tiger Stadium was built of steel and concrete, steep vertical seating, an overhanging upper deck, Sound had nowhere to go but down and back onto the field. Fans were close. Players felt it. No luxury levels. No separation. Everyone experienced the game together. The final Tigers game there was played in September of 1999. The stadium sat vacant for years. Despite preservation efforts, it was demolished in 2009. But something rare followed. The field footprint was preserved. Today, kids play baseball on the same geometry that once held legends. Not nostalgia, continuity. Comerica Park opened in 2000. It brought baseball back downtown, but with a different logic. Wider concourses, themed spaces, controlled circulation. Capacity sits around 41,000. More space, more segmentation, more revenue zones. Baseball didn't leave Detroit. It changed how it gathered. From pressure to flow. Detroit basketball once lived downtown at Cobo Arena. Opened in 1960. Roughly 12,000 seats. Connected to transit, connected to civic life. The Pistons played there until the late 1970s. Then came the suburban era. The Palace of Auburn Hills opened in 1988. Privately financed with over 22,000 seats. Luxury suites everywhere. Everything happened inside. Restaurants, lounges, retail. Championships were won, but the Pistons disappeared from daily city life. The Palace closed in 2017 and was demolished in 2020. Basketball returned downtown in 2017. Little Caesars Arena seats about 20,000 for basketball. It anchors a large district plan. Its defining feature? A large, enclosed concourse. Functions like an indoor street. Basketball returns to the city, but on modern terms. Detroit hockey began at Olympia Stadium. Opened in 1927. Brick exterior, steel trusses. Nicknamed the Old Red Barn. Capacity hovered around 15,000. When fans cheered, the building shook. Olympia closed in 1980 and was demolished in 1986. Then came Joe Louis Arena, which opened in 1979. Concrete heavy, riverfront adjacent. It aged poorly, but accumulated memory. Stanley Cups, dynasties, cold walks along the river. Joe Louis closed in 2017 and was demolished soon after. The site is now being redeveloped for housing, offices, and public access. Hockey now shares Little Caesars Arena. If Olympia was noise, and Joe Louis was grit, LCA is modern Detroit. Centralized, controlled, multi-purposed. Detroit's stadium arc is clear. Neighborhood, monument, suburb, downtown return. But the return is different now. Modern stadiums are planned, programmed, secured, monetized. They're engines, not accidents. Detroit didn't recreate the past. It adapted it. Stadiums are mirrors. They show what cities value, how they move, who they prioritize. Detroit stadiums tell a story of ambition, distance, and recalibration. Because cities don't die when buildings fall. They change. The question is whether they remember what made those places matter in the first place. I'm Chris Hubble. This is Streets of History. And this is what we keep.